When I was a kid watching TV in like the early 80s, I didn't expect representation. I just watched TV because that's what you do and that's what's on. I think in all these decades now, I think people, they want it. I was born in Las Vegas. My parents both came from Iran separately. I think observing like the characters in my dad was a character, all my uncles and aunts and everybody shaped my sense of humor, but I think a lot of it must have come from TV, like Facts of Life, Different Strokes, Jeffersons, Cosby Show, Roseanne. I mean, it wasn't necessarily specifically like, oh, I want to be a TV writer or something like that. It was just, I had this column in my school paper, just writing editorials. They were like, you can write whatever you want. And I would just write about stupid stuff that was happening at the time in my life. And people really responded to it. And that kind of was like the first spark of, oh, maybe I could do this. When I went to USC, it was for like a screenwriting emphasis, so it wasn't necessarily TV. The first couple years you spend sort of learning structure and writing and reading feature-length stuff. And then in the last 2 years, you get to branch out more. I like being able to tell a condensed story. You know, a 110-page script versus a 35-page script. Like, to me, that was more, like, that was an interesting challenge. My first job was at Disney TV Animation when I graduated from school. I'd written this movie, and a professor at USC gave it to somebody at Disney TV Animation. They were like, hey, do you want to come here and work in this like department as like a development associate or whatever they called it for like no money. But I got to, you know, work in TV for a living, and I got to see how shows were made. It was like grad school for me, truly. And I got my first true writing job there on a show called Pepper Ann, which was based on this comic strip about a 12-year-old girl being raised by a single mother and having this like very vivid fantasy life. It was like Ally McBeal for like little girls. The idea behind Don't Trust the Bitch was, one of my favorite movies is Breakfast at Tiffany's. I remember just loving Holly Golightly because she's not married. The girl, she has an awesome apartment. She's doing whatever she wants in the city. And I wanted to figure out like what that character would do if she existed today. And then I thought it would be funny to sort of put that character in stark relief by having a normal roommate who just was trying to like pay bills and stuff and, you know, eat Chipotle. So that was kind of the impetus of that. And yeah, it was amazing. It was such a great opportunity. I had so much fun. Fresh Off the Boat is, you know, based on the memoir by Eddie Wong about his life growing up, and a section of his book is about when his family moved from Chinatown in DC to Orlando, Florida in the mid-90s.
Hey, sweetie.
No.
But you don't even know what I'm asking.
You call me sweetie, so you probably want something extravagant, like a boat or a new party shirt.
The vision of it was very clear. In the pitch, I said, I remember very distinctly being like, this is the show, and the more specific we get, the more universal it will be. An Asian American family in the South, in the mid-90s, with a kid who loves hip hop. Like, you can't get more specific than that.
I get it now, and I love it.
You do?
No, but if you're confident in it, then I feel confident in you.
Because all those levels, you will relate to something in there, you know, as an audience member. And at the core of it is the idea of being an outsider and the idea of being the first generation American and struggling with that, you know, where do you belong, you know, that sort of bridge generation between the past and the future. And to me, it's like everything I'd seen and done, you know, it's like I know exactly what I would want this show to be.
And check this out. The door, it works.
Convenient.
For me, like being an immigrant, being that first generation, it was always important to tell the stories from the inside out, I always say. You know, like we are telling our story. We're not being told our story too. You know, we're not being looked at in a fishbowl, like we're looking out. Fresh Off the Boat has that same courage where it's like, we are who we are. We're not apologizing for it. We're not thankful for it. We exist because these stories exist. And the fact that they did show up and embraced it, gave us a second season, it's a huge testament to the thousands and thousands and thousands of stories that haven't been told yet. You know, and this is just the beginning, just scratching the surface, you know, and hopefully there's gonna be more and more to come.